Okay, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Taahirah Taalib Deen, and I am the founder of Hearts Connecting. And before I begin, I just want to let Sister Bashir and Brother Usman know how much I really appreciate your wisdom and sharing with us, and how Allah clearly used you to just clear the pathway for us. Definitely leading into this presentation, how we all are just so connected, and you are greatly appreciated. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Before I share my screen, I just want to check in with everyone, because I know, if we were in person, we'd be able to see each other and greet each other and hug each other and feel each other's energy and see each other's faces. So for those of you who are able to, would you kindly either, would you type in the chat, give the greetings, and just let me know you're here? Would like to just feel your energy and your presence. So you can just type in and just say, I'm here. You can give the greetings. Just let me know you are all with me, inshallah. Or if it's easier to unmute yourself, I just want to fill you up. There you go. Walaikum assalam, Sister Latifa. Thank you. Walaikum assalam, Sister Marsha. Alhamdulillah. Thank you. Come on, my sisters and brothers. Walaikum assalam. Walaikum assalam.
Sister Brenda.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Allahu Akbar. Walaikum assalam. Yes, grateful. Thank you all so much. Appreciate the energy. Appreciate the participation. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to get started. I first would like to thank Allah. I want to thank Allah for my life. I want to thank Allah for the abundance of blessings that He continues to bestow upon me and my life, and just thank Him for life. I also would like to thank Mosque, and I would like to thank Imam Mohammed II for giving me the opportunity to present today. I also would like to thank Brother Adele and the committee for selecting me to present. I really appreciate it, and I do not take this lightly. This presentation is in the love and memory of my grandparents, James and Elsie Morris. They brought our family into Islam. My granddad came into the nation first. Then my uncle, my grandmother's oldest son, followed. And then when my uncle followed, my grandmother followed. And my grandpa, he did security at Malcolm Shabazz in Harlem. And he was the security post under the leadership of Malcolm X. And that is something that I acknowledge, and I know that I'm here because of them. Sister Elsie, that's her. Someone's phone, mic is unmuted. Can you please unmute kindly? Thank you so much. I also am dedicating this presentation to my kind and patient husband, Antar Jana. Prophet Muhammad, praise and peace be upon him, says, best among you is the one who is best to his wife. And my husband was a good husband to me. My husband, an amazing man. He was kind and patient and loving and caring and generous, and he never disappointed. And I'm grateful to Allah that I was able to experience such a good love and a pure love. So, Hearts Connecting. Hearts Connecting is a business birthed from difficulty, providing relief for grieving hearts. And we're doing our part to contribute with moving forward a model community. So Hearts Connecting services, I will present the virtual Janazah services that we provide. I will also share with you about the Muslim women and women of faith widow support group. And I will also share with you about our transcending grief through growth. So what is Hearts Connecting? I'm going to share with you my story on how Hearts Connecting got started. So I'm from Harlem, New York, born and raised, come from a large family, a large community, a large social life. And in 2011, I met my husband, Antar Jana. He lived in California. And I fell in love with Antar, and we end up marrying in 2012. And when I moved to California, fast forward, my husband got ill in 2019. My husband had a kidney transplant operation that was successful. It was a successful operation. But when you have an organ transplant, your immune system is compromised. And when your immune system is compromised, there are common viruses that come with a compromised immune system. So Antar and I were well aware of these particular viruses. So he contracted one of the common viruses that are associated with organ transplant. So fast forward in January of 2019, my husband unfortunately contracted pneumonia, and the pneumonia was undetected and untreated. So in March of 2019, March 7th, 2019, my husband went to the hospital, and we learned that he had the pneumonia metastasized from the lung to the brain. So my husband had a rare brain infection, which caused lesions to the brain. So in a matter of hours in March, my husband went from communicating to being mobile to completely bedbound. In July 30th of 2020, my husband returned to Allah. My husband returned to Allah during the height of the pandemic. And during this time in California, there were gathering restrictions, there were travel restrictions, and everyone was really, the COVID-19 was an unknown factor for the majority of the population. So there was a lot of concern around this virus. So when my husband returned to Allah, my family and my close friends lived back east. So my mom was recovering from COVID. My family just could not attend. There were many barriers in place that prevented them from attending. And in all honesty, I didn't want my family to take that risk to travel to California to be by my side. So in essence, I buried my husband with no family by my side. However, I did ask one of my closest friends who live in New York if she can facilitate a virtual service for Antar's janazah, because Antar is well known, well liked in the community, well respected, and he has a lot of people who love him. So I wanted to make sure that Antar family and friends who aren't able to attend, and my family and friends who aren't able to attend, to pay their respects by attending his service virtually. I also asked my friend if she could allow for the family and friends to offer comments and remarks after the janazah. So she did just that. And after the janazah, everything was recorded. I went home that evening and I'm lying in bed. My heart is just broken. And I end up watching the janazah, and that recording brought so much light and so much comfort to my heart in that moment by hearing the remarks from Antar's friends and my family and the prayers that they offered. It was just so comforting. So fast forward in December of 2020, a sister friend of mine in New York, husband returned to Allah. He was the uncle to my two brothers by marriage, and he was also a prominent Imam in the New York City area. So I reached out to the sister and offered to facilitate a Zoom service for her husband, same as my friend did for me. And it was purely out of the love of sisterhood and to be there for another widow. So she gave me her okay, and I went ahead and I did it. And it provided a great space for the people who were in attendance who did not attend in person. So on that Zoom was a sister who's based in New Jersey. She is a funeral director, and she got in contact with me, and she ended up like hiring me or contracting me to facilitate virtual funerals for her family and friends, because she wanted that component for her funeral. So I realized, like, as I was doing this, I realized like this is actually can become a business. Like this is a blessing from Allah. And I end up incorporating Hearts Connecting, and that's when Hearts Connecting business was born.